All right, guys, this is where the magic happens. This is one of our true Kava warehouses where we're producing the gold standard of what's going to be the future of non-alcoholic and social tonic beverages here in America and internationally across the world. It's amazing stuff. So we've got warehouses literally full of our products. And right here, this is a great aisle that I want to show you because it shows you this right here is the raw Kava material. This is ground down Kava root. It's only lateral roots and the basal stump that comes right above the ground. And we literally import this by the hundreds of tons. So we import this into the United States directly from our partner farms in Vanuatu, where strain selection is carefully vetted, obviously, so we know exactly what we're getting as far as the combination of strains. And we are drying it at our partner facilities down in Vanuatu immediately after harvest. So you can't see it right here, but the actual full Kava plant is a shrub that comes about 3 meters off the ground with these beautiful heart-shaped leaves, right? Which is kind of ironic because it's a heart opener, right? In a sense, as far as the effects are concerned. These are the ground down roots. And so what we do is we harvest these fresh plants and then we grow them with a very specific, like low heat drying process, where we preserve as many of the active enzymatic compounds and active constituents as humanly possible. And then it's immediately sealed in these bags after the strain, selection is properly vetted and everything. Each one of our plants that we source from are grown and matured for at least 5 years minimum before harvest, which is imperative because Kava ages like wine whenever it's in the ground, right? Its active constituents mature and it develops more cofactors and constituents that help with the bioavailability and the absorption and just the intensity at which they hit the receptors in the nervous system. And so it gets much stronger, much more robust the longer that it's aged. But you have to be able to mass produce it at the same time. And so you have a lot of unscrupulous brokers and even farmers and companies that are sourcing, growing material that's not even matured past 2 years. That's a huge problem. So we dry it correctly. After it comes off, it's packed and sealed off from oxygen really quickly. And then we import it by the hundreds of tons into the United States. And this is the raw form at which it comes in, right? So this is a combination of the lateral roots and the basal stump, which are the only consumable parts of the Kava plant. Now, that's really important, right? Because every single one of these bags that comes in the United States is rigorously third-party lab tested just to ensure that there's no aerial plant parts that make it into the mixture, right, as we ground it down. And aerial parts mean leaves and stems. Those have some plant defense compounds, cause roughage in the stomach, can cause some problematic circumstances that people wrongly associate with Kava, but that's not Kava. Kava is only this material. So we test it for both industrial and biological contaminants, right? Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, larvicides, heavy metals, all of that stuff. And of course we test it for bacteria and we test it for mold, mycotoxins, all that stuff as it comes in. And so this is a very, very pristine, carefully selected set of cultivars that we have that goes into every batch, right? And this is the starting material. And then our manufacturing process starts once we get it in the United States, where we basically bring it in our facilities where we've commercialized the traditional preparation method that we can actually produce it at scale. We take this down in that kneading and that squeezing, right, that you see, that's used with only water and pressure. We developed very specifically engineered equipment that allows us to extract it at the right temperatures using only water and pressure in a type of high pressure and squeezing. And then we filter it correctly and filter out all those heavy tannins and root fibers. But the tannins and the root fibers are kind of what thicken up Kava to that really like muddy texture. If you've ever been to a Kava bar where, you have actual traditional Kava, like the effects are great, but like most people, I mean, come on, it's mud, right? And so we've actually reinvented everything that's good about the traditional Kava experience and repackage it into a modern form that's like this effervescent soda that looks like beer, but tastes like a good kind of fruity health beverage, right? So it's this great stuff, but then still has that Kava forward flavor, this sort of aromatic compounds that interact with the tongue that you can taste, but we dissect a lot of the sort of the muddy texture from it and the taste and leave that kind of peppery hue. As this comes into the US, we bring it in our facilities and we process it with this traditional extraction method, filter it, and then flash pasteurize it in the correct way, and then we stabilize it, right? So that's a really, really crucial part, right? So the extraction, the filtration, and then the stabilizing, right, is a very difficult thing that we had to accomplish as well too. So, and then we can it, of course, and that comes out into our traditional Kava beverages. Our instant powder actually is produced out of fresh Kava, so not from this stuff, but the same plant, but everything is actually done in Vanuatu, where it's actually made fresh, and then with a specific vacuum drying, really proprietary process, we're actually able to rapidly dry it or dehydrate it down. So we're taking full green kava and dehydrating it down. That's our newest product, which is really fascinating and interesting. But basically this product, after we produce it in our facilities, it turns into what you see over here. Pallets and pallets. We've got warehouses full of this. This is our True Kava soda, right? It's our True Kava drink. Everything that we've developed with True Kava, we're actually taking what's best out of Polynesian culture in this like full spectrum whole food over here, and taking this and then we're turning it into this, right? And this is an end user product that actually fits in modern life, that tastes good. All you have to do is crack a can open and get the effects of something that's tried and true historically, and it's been used ceremonially for thousands of years, right? So all that preparation, that squeezing, like flying across the world, literally to the other side of the globe. That's how far Fiji is. And then going and actually doing ceremony, that's all fantastic and amazing. It's trying to bring that into culture and have the cultural impact in shaping good, healthy social environments where authentic connection and authentic, elevated emotional states actually can start to take hold in the United States, right? This right here is gonna reshape culture as it becomes as common as a cup of coffee. That's literally what's going to happen. So it's incredible stuff.